Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Credit One Platinum Visa for rebuilding credit. So I'm going to be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video, you should have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before I go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Also, if you would like to receive a few free stocks in a pinned comment below as well as in the description box, I will be leaving a few different links where you can receive just that. Okay, so diving right into the main features of this card by Credit One. First off, we're going to be talking about cash back. Now with this credit card, you can actually earn some cash back, but there are some restrictions. So with this card, you will be earning 1% cash back on eligible purchases. Now, what are these eligible purchases? Well, they're on gas, groceries, your monthly phone bill, internet, cable, and satellite TV services. And then on all other purchases, you can possibly earn up to 10% cash back. This is going to be from certain retailers only, and you'll automatically earn these whenever you make the purchase, so you don't have to go in and activate or anything like that. Now, unfortunately, with this credit card, there is no spend bonus. So like other credit cards out there on the market, you might have to spend $500 within the first 3 months, and you might earn something back as far as the spend bonus goes. This credit card, since it's more towards beginners looking to build or rebuild their credit, unfortunately, there is no spend bonus. However, there are some other features that you can look out for with this card, and that includes credit line increase opportunities. So if you are making timely payments and paying in full, they are going to be regularly looking your account and looking to increase your credit line over time, which of course could help you in a few different ways. Now, as far as some other features go with this credit card, first off, you will have contactless payments. You're going to have zero fraud liability. That means that if someone steals your card either physically or online somehow and goes out and makes thousands of dollars in purchases, you will not be liable for those purchases because you did not make those purchases yourself. Also, you're going to have free online access to your credit score, the mobile app which you can use, and then you can also set up customizable notifications, so whenever you make a purchase or maybe someone else makes a purchase that you did not authorize, you can make it so you have those notifications coming right to your phone. That way, if there is some type of fraudulent activity going on, you're going to be the first to know because you're going to be notified on your phone. And then finally, you can also choose a new payment due date. So perhaps if you get paid on the 14th of every month, but your due date is on the 12th of every month, perhaps you could consider moving your payment due date back to the 16th or the 18th. And by that way, by pushing the payment due date back, that perhaps might be a little bit better for you. Okay, so now that I went over the main features of this card, we're now gonna go ahead and dive right into the APR and fees, because of course this is super important as well. So starting out, your purchase APR is going to be 29.24%. Obviously, this is a lot higher than what we'd like to see, but as long as you're paying on time and in full, you're not going to be hit with any interest. So of course, that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, as far as cash advances go on this channel, I always recommend to stay far away from cash advances, just my personal reasons, of course not financial advice. But if you do happen to take out a cash advance, of course the APR on those is going to be 29.24%. And then on top of that, there's also going to be a fee of either $5 or 8% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. So obviously, if you do take out a cash advance, just make sure that you know what the APR is and also what you're going to be paying in fees. Now, on top of cash advance fees, if you happen to travel abroad, this is a card you'll probably want to leave at home because they do have something called a foreign transaction fee. And the foreign transaction fee with this card is actually a lot higher than other cards out there in the market. So with this card, the foreign transaction fee is either $1 or 3% of the amount of each purchase, whichever happens to be greater. And then with this card, there's also a fee for late payments or return payments. That fee is going to be up to $39. And then unfortunately with this card, there is also an annual fee. So for the first year loan, your annual fee is going to be $75 per year. So for the first year, your annual fee is going to be $75. And then the second year, moving forward, your annual fee is going to be $99, which is going to be billed at $8.25 per month, and is going to reduce the amount of statement credit that you have. So if you have a credit line of $300, obviously the $8.25 is going to be deducted each and every month from that $300 credit line. And then finally, with this credit card, if you want to add an authorized user, whether it be your spouse or other family members, unfortunately with this credit card, there's also a fee to add an authorized user. That fee is going to be $19. And of course, will also reduce the amount of your available credit. So again, if your credit line is $300 and you want to add an authorized user, that $19 for adding an authorized user will be deducted from your $300 credit line. Okay, so now that we went over the main features of this credit card as well as the APR and fees, I'm now going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the biggest pros and cons of this credit card, and then sort of sum everything up. So starting out, the biggest pros is the fact that yes, you can earn 1% cash back on most purchases. There are going to be some purchases you may not earn any cash back on, and of course that is going to be considered one of the drawbacks. And then of course the other pro with this card is the fact that yes, you can build your credit as long as you use this card responsibly, pay in full, keep your credit utilization ratio below 10% if you can, and if you can't, at least below 30%. So as long as you're using this card responsibly, you're definitely going to build your credit score. And then as far as the cons go, with this card, unfortunately, there are probably a lot more drawbacks than there are pros. So starting out, yes, there is going to be an annual fee of $75. Once again, that's going to be for the first year. And then the second year moving forward, it is going to be $99 per year, billed at $8.25 per month. So unfortunately, yes, there is a fee that you do have to pay to have this card every single year. And then of course, there's also going to be a foreign transaction fee. The foreign transaction fee is again going to be $1 or 3% of the amount of each transaction, whichever happens to be greater. And then there's also going to be a $19 fee to add each authorized user. So that's another unfortunate drawback. If you want to add a family member, whether you be your spouse or anyone else, you're going to have to pay $19 per authorized user. And then finally, you're only going to be earning 1% cash back on certain purchases. It's not going to be across the board. And although you can earn up to 10% cash back at certain retailers, really that's going to be pretty thin. It's not going to be at a lot of retailers that you get to choose from. So, 1% cash back really isn't all that great whenever you look at other credit cards out there on the market, even those that are more so targeted towards beginners. So just to sum up this card, all in all, it is a card I would probably not recommend. It would be a card that I wouldn't use myself personally. At the end of the day, it is definitely your choice though, but I'm just saying there are other cards out there on the market targeted towards beginners, maybe ones that are secured credit cards like the Discover It secured credit card, for example. And with that card, on every single transaction, you're going to be earning at least 1% cash back. And then at restaurants and gas stations, you're going to be earning 2% cash back. And then at the end of your first year, you're actually going to get a cash back match. So whatever you earn in cash back, Discover will match it and give that money back. So with that card, there's also no annual fee, whereas with this card, again, for the first year, it is going to be $75. And then every single year after that is going to be $99. So all in all, it's probably not a card that I would recommend, but at the end of the day, it's definitely your choice. But that's all we have for today's review. Certainly hope that you enjoyed and found it helpful. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.